Hello everyone and welcome to a brand new YouTube video. Today we'll be talking about one of my favorite sentinels in the entire game, that is Valorant, and how to make her better. Essentially, I will be doing Riot's job for them, and I do intend to get to every character in the game, but for now we're just going to be looking at how I want to rework Deadlock and how I think Deadlock can be turned into a way better character fundamentally. Now, I do want to preface the start of this video by saying right now, Deadlock is not a weak character. She's more of a one-trick, one-map character. I think she is deceptively overpowered on Bind, and I think she has her moments where she can really shine and be strong. However, I don't think the character is very well balanced in the kit. So, based on my understanding of Valorant, what Riot tries to do is they evenly spread the character's usability in all four abilities, right? With other sentinels like Cypher, Sage, and so on and so forth, you can kind of see how the kit fits together and how the power is distributed. Cypher's ultimate isn't particularly strong, so because of that, his cages and tripwires and camera are really strong utilities and abilities that can gather information, because his ultimate isn't the pinpoint and the play point of Cypher, compared to Sage, where all of her, essentially most of her strength is in her ultimate, and because of that, her wall, slow, and heal are significantly nerfed and diminished compared to what they were on release. But today we're talking about Deadlock, so I'm just going to quickly give you a breakdown of Deadlock's current abilities, and then I'll show you how I want to manipulate and change them to move the power from her wall into her ultimate, her grenade ability, and her stuns. Deadlock's signature ability, and probably the part of her kit that holds most of the power, is her wall. Her wall works much like a Sage wall in the sense that it has a cooldown period after being put down where it hardens and gains more HP, which in turn makes it harder to take down. But if you shoot it right as she places down, I think he only has 150 HP, which is 4 Vandal shots. So if you are struggling against Deadlock in ranked, and yeah, just shoot the wall as soon as she puts it down. It'll take it down way much faster. As far as I'm aware, it has a combined total HP that is quite a bit greater than what Sage's wall does, but that's because it's got the center and then the 4 outer bits that spread out. It's really easy to take a significant amount of space with that wall, which people don't really consider, and I think it's so forgiving that you could miss it and it could still work in your favor. However, because of the 4-way movement that the wall does, and because it's not northeast southwest but rather the 45-degree iterations of those directions, it also makes it really hard to place unless you've got lineups, because with lineups it will be able to go in some really cool places. But if you don't have those and you just throw it willy-nilly, in 9 out of 10 times you're actually going to get your team killed instead of helping them. Deadlock's grenade, her net ability, is her single-use $200 chuck and a squat now grenade, which I'm not going to say anything about. It's a very interesting concept, but I think because it doesn't work in tandem with any other form of abilities, and it sort of serves as a post-plant pseudo threat of getting something else thrown on you on top of it, and it relies a lot on teamwork and synergy. It's kind of a weird ability. There are some instances where you can really easily make it work, like if you've got a Raze on your team and you chuck the grenade, they will be stuck and have to take it off them, and then the Raze nade can hit a bit easier. It's really difficult to gauge how strong it is because it's so dependent on you having a team with someone that either has a molly, a nade, or some form of damaging ability that you can combine with Deadlock, because on its own it's very odd, and also it actually makes the game harder because it changes the pre-aiming level that you need to use in order to make the most out of it. Now, if you're someone who pre-aims around chest level and squat sprays, that's fine, but as you go higher in elo, because you have the muscle memory developed in aiming for exactly head level, if you chuck the nade and then peek at head level, you can be caught off guard by your own nade. Of course, you wouldn't know that they'd be crouching, but just the fact that it creates an inconsistency in the level that the player can be at can actually dampen and damage your aim. So it's one of those abilities that it's like high skill, high reward, or I guess in this case it's more like high skill, low reward, because it doesn't stun them or do anything to assist you. The biggest point of controversy with Deadlock on release was by far the fact that she's horrible at watching flank, because her tripwires, or trip nades, whatever you want to call them, her stun liners, I guess is a fun name, trademark pending, They're really bad. They are sound activated, which was an odd choice from Riot Games because, yeah, sound plays a really big part, but everyone who flanks does so by shift walking, which creates no sound. So it was just a very odd decision when making Deadlock to have the tripwires for a sentinel be triggered by the one thing people who flank don't want to make, which is sound. But if you play 4D chess with Deadlock and place them a little bit deeper into defending whatever site you want to stop people flanking from, they can work in your favor, but it's really a like mind game where, sort of the same way as Cypher, if the enemy team has a dedicated way of going past your trips whenever you're on attack, then you're gonna get flanked a lot and die a lot. Compared to someone like Chamber, whose trap can just catch you regardless. Deadlock's really bad at watching flank, but I don't think that's what the traps are for. What the traps are for is for stopping rushes. Deadlock is really good at pacing the game at her own pace, right? If you're playing Deadlock, you can choose if you want to put the stuns on the spike plant points and allow the team to come onto site for you to play the post-plant game, or you can choose to put it at drop-off points where people are guaranteed to make sounds, such as like dropping from heaven, dropping from hookah on bind. Again, I'm gonna keep bringing up Deadlock and bind. Please play Deadlock on bind. She is the best sentinel for that map, hands down. And also the very high skill, I'd say high skill, high reward, because stuns are really strong in Valorant, especially if you catch someone with an operator or like a weapon that requires them to ADS. The stun will not let them do that. They don't synergize really well with the rest of the kit, and that's what's really bugging me, like the fact that there's very little synergy in Deadlock's kit. And last but not least, Deadlock's ultimate, probably the one thing that I wouldn't really change in this video, is her straight line, catch you around the corner, really easy to miss ability that will capture one person and after about 3 seconds kill them because they just get sucked into Deadlock's whirlpool of death. I think the ultimate is really cool, no comments, great idea, Riot, I fucking love it.
Try. Hizuka. You. Nice job.
Now that we've given you some sort of feedback on how Deadlock works at the moment and why her kit desperately needs an upgrade, it's about time I start breaking down the actual changes I would make that I think would be pivotal to improving the quality of life of us Deadlock players. So, as I've previously said before, Deadlock's grenade, not only does it cost, I believe, $200, right? Which is a lot of money to buy at the start of every single round, and can easily eat into your creds without you realizing.
No escape.
Its use is a little on the weird side, so it will cause people to stay squatted. The squat isn't indefinite, it does run out, or people can press and hold F to get the squat off them. It has quite a large area of effect, as you can see it actually can catch everyone here. And all it does is it slows them down, puts them in a crouching state, but it doesn't actually dampen the vision, it doesn't cause any form of screen flare. There's an initial warning sign that appears on your screen like that. It's very short. I mean, I guess you could say it causes visual flare, but we all know that's not really a debuff when most people play with skins that look way better than this wonderful Aristocrat Vandal. Look at it. ADHD coming in hot. So, my change would be, remove the crouching mechanic altogether, or if you really like it, keep it, whatever, it's a unique form of CC, and exchange it for the stun.
Sound sensor up.
Your stun is currently on your Q, and it will only get procced when enemies spawn. So, like, if they move, let me just quickly, oh my god, no. F3 straight. I wonder if this will trigger it. Yeah, there you go. So, it'll only get triggered when enemies make noise. Which is really weird, right? Because people need to step to get them to stun, and it's just a regular breach stun. Remove that stun from your Q, add it to your net, and keep it from crouching. Wow, that's interesting. It doesn't actually even force the boss to crouch. It's kind of funny. But yeah, that's what the net looks like. One thing to know about Deadlock's net is if you get caught on the edge of it, you will actually move slower as you get to the edge of the net than you would if you were in the center, right? So it's created as a sort of like you can't walk out of it, not easily. I also think you can't dash out of it. You can dismiss out of the net, but you can't dash out of the net anymore. So remove the stun from the Q, move it to the net, and then for your stun, instead of making it a noise triggered ability, turn it into a line of sight ability. The moment the enemies are in its line of sight, it gets triggered, kind of like a Sova arrow. So imagine there's a Deadlock nade on the wall. I'm gonna need you guys to visualize a lot of this because I do not have, like, I don't know how to animate things. So you've got your Deadlock nade on the wall, enemies walk in front of it, they strafe in front of it, and then there you go. It tags everyone following the same arc that the standard Deadlock nade would, right? And the way you would balance this is it has infinite range, right? So it'll go from there all the way into, like, against this wall, right? And it'll tag anyone it has line of sight of. It'll have the same delay that the regular Deadlock Q has, right? Which is, I think it's 0.5 seconds, where enemies can actually destroy it before it gets triggered. Yeah, it's like 0.5 seconds to destroy it. And instead of stunning people, it'll just tag them. If you're closer to the stun or the trigger of this trap, it will reveal you for 1 second. If you're at the utmost distance away, it will reveal you for 0.25 seconds, and that's how you balance it. Because there's no way you're going to destroy it if it triggers when you're all the way over here, but it also won't reveal you for as long. So there you go, Riot. This is how you balance Deadlock, right? You move the stun to her grenade so that it's way more threatening, and it would still be good because the stun still slows you, which means that people will still get caught by the Deadlock nade, and it can still be used in tandem with other abilities. And I also think we don't have an AoE stun like this. All stuns in the game for the time being, well, technically we do because we have Neon. There you go. You can even use the assets from Neon's Q and just transfer the coding into Deadlock's nade. Easy peasy. I'm a genius. Riot, hire me. As far as the wall go, I wouldn't do any changes. I do think that these orbs should be a bit easier to take down. Like, I think with, like, all of these buffs that I want to give, because after this, Deadlock is going to be really powerful, right? I think these should be able to be taken out in about 10... How many bullets does it take now, actually, to take them out? 15, right? Just nerf it down to 10. Make it so these things have, like, 10 bullets worth of health. That's all you need to do. And that's the nerf I'll do to the wall. Keep the center the same, but make it easier to break these individual bits. Because right now it costs 15, 30, 45, 60 bullets to take it down. Or you can just shoot, I think, 60 bullets into the center. I think. And that will take it down as well. But yeah, just nerf the outer edges, keep the center the same, and keep the hardening bit where, like, it's got a few seconds as it hardens where you can destroy a bit faster. Just keep all of that. As for her ultimate, what I'll do is I would personally change this, like, line in the center. Like, you see the line in the center that shows you where it bounces off? I change it to make that the hitbox. Make it much, much more high skill on the line, and make the actual orb thing, like the orb thing that comes out at the end, this thing, make it gigantic, right? Like, make that the biggest bit of this hitbox, and then that way it's a bit more forgiving for the area you're trying to land, and a bit less easy for you to catch people by peeking into the ultimate straight away, right? Another thing I would do is I would bring it down from 7 to 6. People will disagree with that. Bias here, absolute bias. I really like this character. But yeah, I would bring it down from 7 to 6. I think it's really unfair that a character with no self-peel, besides the, like, stuns that are horrible, and everyone knows they're horrible, needs to get 7 kills to get her ultimate, regardless of how strong that is. Yeah, 6. 6. It's 1 guaranteed kill, that's true. But even then, it has an equip time, it has an unequipped time, and it's not even that good because people can break it. That's odd. Yeah, it's not even that good because people can break it, and in a real match you can break it yourself as well. So, there you are, Riot. Those are the changes I would do for Deadlock. I think they would genuinely make the character a lot more fun and better to play, especially because then her kit would actually synergize, because your traps would get triggered, they would pin the enemy's location, which you can then nade to the intention to stun. Once they're stunned, you can then peek and kill them. It's literally adding synergy to a character that really lacks on. Imagine as a Deadlock player, you're holding sight, right? Enemies are coming from here, you're holding sight here. You have your wall set out here, to stop them from getting onto site. They break the wall, and you've got your pink nade there.
Listening.
Enemies get pinged, you bounce your nade off the wall, they get stunned, you peek, and you get a kill. Right now, as Deadlock, you can't do that, because even if they run and get stunned and you chuck the nade, by the time you get around the corner and the nade triggers, chances are the stun has either run out or they've destroyed it. So you can't play off your util as easily. Those are my thoughts. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Am I an absolute lunatic that should know but never be hired by Riot to go near any balancing team in any game? Just let me know. Also, if you like Deadlock and you have changes you want to see to a kit, or if you have any ideas of your own, please also comment them down below. Yeah, thank you everyone for coming. Really appreciate you staying this long. I appreciate this is a long video. All the clips you've seen today are recorded on my Twitch, so please come say hi. And also, let me know what characters you'd like me to do next. I do have pretty much the entire roster. I have some comments on how to make the characters healthier for the game. Again, this is my opinion. Please take it with a pinch of salt, or tell me to go fuck myself in the comments.